Welcome to Healthy Buzz, the podcast for women who are craving honest answers in a supportive community. Hosted by Brandy Homerding, a certified nutrition therapy practitioner who believes your body isn't broken, but the narrative around women's health is. Each week, we're diving deep into holistic health topics, challenging the one-size-fits-all approach, and empowering you to trust your own informed intuition. Get ready to feel seen, supported, and seriously informed. This is Healthy Buzz, where collaboration meets unfiltered transparency in women's health. Welcome to another episode of Healthy Buzz. In today's episode, I want to cover a topic that I feel like is really important, but like with most things with nutrition, it's probably a little confusing for you. I'm going to talk about protein, especially when it comes to perimenopause and why it is so important. We can often hear about protein and why it's important for building muscle, but did you know that it is really important for women who are peri and postmenopausal? It's so much more than just building muscle. It's about hormone balance, managing symptoms like brain fog, weight gain, poor sleep, and feeling strong and supported in your own skin. So if you have ever wondered, well, how much protein do I actually really need? And what is it for? Especially if you're in your perimenopausal or postmenopausal years, you are not alone. It is really easy to feel overwhelmed, and my goal is to help cut through all the noise and provide you with a little bit of clarity today on why protein is so important in your perimenopausal years. So perimenopause, this is a word that Gen X and millennials are becoming all too familiar with. This is the time frame where there can be a sudden onset of new symptoms related to hormonal shifts that are occurring. And this could be anywhere from 2 to 12 years leading up to menopause. So menopause is the time frame in which you have gone one full year without a menstrual cycle, and that one day of that anniversary of no period is your menopause day. After that, you are postmenopausal. The time frame before that 1 year anniversary date arrives, you are perimenopausal. And that is usually for us, women who are like mid 30s and 40s are starting to enter this perimenopausal time frame. During this time frame, it can feel really kind of overwhelming. It can feel like there is a switch that was flipped overnight, and suddenly you're having all these mood swings, maybe brain fog, poor sleep, phantom smells, itchy ears, ringing in your ears, and weight gain. That's what I hear a lot of people really talking about is like, oh my gosh, my weight has shifted so much. And I can honestly say that when I turned 40, my genes and I had a serious disagreement. While perimenopause is this wild ride of fluctuating hormones, here's why that is happening. Your egg quality begins to dwindle as you are aging. And so you're no longer having these robust ovulatory cycles that you had in your 20s and 30s. And then we see progesterone begin to drop. We can also have anovulatory cycles where we're actually not ovulating. So we're not having that progesterone bump after ovulation that we typically get. So progesterone is the first that starts to decline in the perimenopausal stage. Then we can also see estrogen become quite erratic before it slowly starts to decline as we approach menopause. Testosterone is also a hormone that is playing a role here. It doesn't get quite as much airtime as estrogen and progesterone, but it is really important when it comes to your hormonal landscape as a woman. And it does slowly start to decline as well in these perimenopausal years. So protein is a macronutrient that I have become quite passionate about. It plays a really, really important role in your body. I talked all about the macronutrients and their properties in episode 5, so you can go back and take a listen to that to get the full understanding of what protein is and why it is so important. But when we consume protein, our protein gets broken down into something called amino acids. Amino acids are going to be your building blocks for things like your hair, your skin, your nails, your neurotransmitters, your immune function, and also your hormones. I mean, amino acids are needed for everywhere, but it does impact your hormones. That's how we create hormones. We need these amino acids. So without a sufficient supply of amino acids from the protein that you're eating, your body can't produce your hormones as efficiently and effectively as it did before. And this can exacerbate your symptoms that you're experiencing as well. So protein is needed for muscle mass maintenance. It is really important that we are supporting our muscle growth and development through these perimenopausal years, because as estrogen levels begin to decline, women lose muscle mass. This is a process called sarcopenia, in which is the decline of muscle mass. So muscle fibers are activated and stimulated by estrogen, and this helps to promote muscle repair. So with the decline of estrogen through perimenopause and in postmenopause, this increases your risk for muscle loss. Hey, Healthy Buzz listeners, are you feeling like you're constantly struggling to hit your protein goals? Like, you should be getting more protein for energy, muscle support, and overall well-being, but you're not quite for sure how to make that happen without sacrificing flavor or other important nutrients. I get it. That's why I created the High Protein Power Plan, a delicious and easy to follow 7-day meal plan designed specifically for women who want to effortlessly reach 130 grams of protein or more every single day. Now, this isn't about bland chicken and broccoli. Inside, you're going to find mouth-watering recipes packed with flavor and designed to perfectly balance your macros. Think vibrant salads with protein powerhouses, satisfying bowls packed with flavor and nutrients, and easy dinner ideas that make hitting your goals a breeze without feeling deprived. This plan takes the stress out of high-protein eating and helps you feel your absolute best. Ready to finally unlock the power of high protein without the guesswork? Head on over to bcw.becollectivewellness.com/high protein recipes to download your high protein power plan today. That's bcw.becollectivewellness.com/high protein recipes. It's time to nourish your body, feel amazing, and discover how delicious hitting your protein goals truly can be. And let's be honest, many of us millennials and Gen Xers are recovering cardio queens, and we really need to shift our focus away from a cardio-only workout to picking up some weights. And I'm talking about like some heavy weights. If you're not lifting weights, you don't need to pick up a heavy weight, but pick up a weight and build up to those heavier weights to help preserve your muscle mass. Here's something that's really important that I want to share with you as well. In a 2020 research study, it showed that even a slight increase in your protein consumption can significantly impact your lean body mass. So just increasing your protein can help support lean body mass. So I promise you that by increasing your protein and picking up heavy weights, you will not turn into a bulky bodybuilder, but you will, through the process, improve your balance, improve your strength and your stability, and improve your muscle mass will have a really positive impact on your metabolism and weight management. So that brings me to my next point. Protein really supports weight management. So you're 100% not imagining it if you feel like weight management is way more challenging in perimenopause. Hormone shifting is going to affect the way that your body stores fat, and this can lead to unwanted weight gain. So increasing your protein intake can help with your weight management. Consuming protein increases your satiety by releasing peptides that send a message to your brain that you are full or satiated. One of those peptides is that protein can naturally help increase as a GLP-1. So yes, this is the same GLP-1 that you've been hearing about that supports weight loss, that people are taking as a shot, an injection for their weight loss journey. So your body makes GLP-1s naturally. Consuming protein can increase your body's natural production of this. We can also see evidence of protein increasing satiety with something called the protein leverage hypothesis. So the protein leverage hypothesis states that you will continue to consume food until your protein needs have been met, regardless of the energy the food provides. So when protein is prioritized, you tend not to overconsume fat and carbs. If protein is not prioritized, fat and carbs tend to be overconsumed. So there are 2 research studies that were done in 2023 that correlated a positive impact on weight when diets containing greater than 10 and 20% of protein were consumed. So we're not talking about eating less. We're not talking about shrinking. I'm talking about eating in a way that your body is responding positively to. And so increasing your protein can have a really positive impact on that weight management. So the next point that I want to talk about or highlight is that your bone health really has an impact when estrogen is involved here, but it also has an impact with protein. So estrogen is essential for maintaining muscle mass and also your bone health. As estrogen decreases, the risk of osteoporosis goes up, and the decrease in muscle mass and bone density makes women more susceptible to falls and broken bones. And ultimately, that can lead to the loss of independence. So thinking about not today when you're in your 40s or 50s and thinking of like, oh my gosh, I'm going to fall and break a bone. That's not likely. What we're doing today is going to set you up for the next 20, 30, 40 years. And so we want to build that really strong, stable foundation to support bone health and muscle mass. So consuming protein along with calcium, vitamin D, and strength training should be a non-negotiable for improving your bone density and strength. That will help prevent falls leading to broken bones and losing your independence down the road. Another area in which protein really has an impact is on your mood and brain fog. So I hear so many women talk about how they have so much brain fog or they're so much moodier now that they are perimenopausal. These are common complaints and their symptoms, and we definitely need to address the symptoms and what could be potentially causing this. But we also can look at there could be a link between protein. So this definitely related to a decline in estrogen and progesterone, but protein also plays that role with the amino acids. So amino acids from proteins are going to be the building blocks for your neurotransmitters. Neurotransmitters are those chemical messengers that affect your mood, your energy, and your cognitive function. So getting enough protein is going to give your brain the fuel that it needs so that you can stay sharp and maybe a little less moody. So we've talked about why protein is important, but you're probably wondering, how much protein do you actually need to consume in order to have these really great benefits of consuming the protein? But like with everything else in nutrition, this is really nuanced. It's going to depend on your health, your sex, your age, your body composition, your activity level, and most importantly, what your goals are and what feels good to you in your body. Many experts tend to land somewhere between 1.2 to 2.4 grams per kilogram of body weight. So that equates to 0.55 to 1.1 grams per pound of ideal body weight. So let's say that your ideal body weight is around 150 pounds. I'm just throwing out numbers here, not saying that that is the number that you need to strive for. Many will say that, well, if you strive for about 150 grams of protein, you're going to be kind of on track with that. And you might be thinking, well, this sounds like a lot, Brandy. There's no way. But I want you to know that these are going to be different than what the recommended dietary allowance or the RDA has recommended, because the RDA has set something very low. In fact, the numbers that it set for what we should be consuming when it comes to protein, these numbers were set back in 1941. There has not been much change to this. And these were requirements for the bare minimum for the person that was very sedentary. And we have come a long way since then. Our understanding of protein and nutrition has grown so much. And so these RDAs are a little behind. They need to catch up. And I want you to be really proactive with your health. And so that's why I'm here sharing this information with you. Do you need 150 grams of protein? Probably not. Probably not. But I do want you to aim for 100 grams of protein every day. And here's how you're going to do it. You are going to spread out your protein throughout the day. This is why something like intermittent fasting is not going to be in the wheelhouse of games we're going to play here, because you are then limiting the amount of time in which you can consume all of the macronutrients, protein, and your micronutrients. That's a podcast for a whole nother day. But you want to spread out this 100 grams of protein throughout your day. So thinking about like 25 to 30 grams of protein at each meal, and then also having protein for your snacks. We're going to prioritize whole foods here. So thinking your animal meats, your beef, lamb, pork, wild game, poultry, eggs, seafood, dairy, legumes, soy, tofu. These are all really great sources for protein. You could add whole grains in there as well, but that would be more if you're on like a vegetarian diet. But if you are a meat eater, I would definitely want to focus more on those animal-based proteins. Now, you can also supplement very wisely here. You can use things like protein powders or adding collagen to your coffee. Now, collagen is not going to be a complete amino acid profile, but it is a way to increase your protein. And protein powders are in like protein bars and things like that is going to be something that you want to complement your whole food diet. I don't want you focused on drinking just like 3 protein shakes a day and having collagen in your coffee and eating this protein bar and eating these protein cookies and eating this protein ice cream. You don't need protein in your ice cream. You don't need protein in your cookies unless you want it, but you don't need to do that, because if you're focusing on having protein at your meals, making that the focus of the meals, and then adding your fruits and your veggies and your starchy carbs, your grains to that, you're going to be able to hit 100 grams of protein every day without a problem. So as we wrap this up, I want to leave you with this thought. This conversation isn't just about protein and hitting your macros to check a box and move on with your day. This is about giving your body the tools that it needs to help navigate this really profound hormonal shift that are happening in these perimenopausal years to support your body. So prioritizing protein is going to be a practical step towards a healthier future, and it's going to be on your own terms. So thank you so much for joining me for another episode of Healthy Buzz. Thanks for tuning in to another episode of Healthy Buzz. I hope this conversation has left you feeling seen, supported, and ready to take the next step in your health journey. Love what you heard? Make sure you subscribe to Healthy Buzz so you never miss an honest conversation. And if you found this valuable, please take a moment to leave a review. I truly appreciate it. For exclusive weekly tips and holistic strategies, be sure to subscribe to my weekly newsletter. The link is in the show notes. Remember, this isn't just nutrition, it's permission to trust your body. I'll catch you on the next episode of Healthy Buzz.